What down, family? I am Run JLC, and this is Project 345, episode 8. Let's get to it. All right, let's get right to it. So this week I totaled 50 miles, which is about 4.5 miles less than what I did the previous week. Now, this week is a maintenance week for me in the way that this training plan is structured. I will build up miles. So last week I did the 54.62 or whatever. Then this week I'll go back to a maintenance week, which that foundation for me right now is around 49, 50 miles. So 50 miles baseline, then I'll jump up to like 56. And I'll go back to 50 miles, and I'll jump up to like 57, 58. And that's just how the training plan is structured. So that way I'm not constantly building and breaking down and breaking down. I'm building up, and then I'm giving my body a chance to really get comfortable with that new mileage and just maintain the fitness that I'm currently at. All right, what was Strength Tuesday looking like? We had 4 by 1.5 mile intervals with 800 meter recovery. I want to keep my paces between 820 and 825 on my strength workouts. And I definitely underestimated this one. I didn't think that extra half mile would do much for me, but it did much for me. Now, my paces was right on target with where I needed it to be. But for whatever reason, that extra half mile just did something where I just felt this workout all in my legs. It was a great start to a week. It was an early start, but definitely a great start to the work week. Tempo Thursday, so we added an extra mile to the tempo this week. I like to keep my pace between 830 and 835 on the tempo. The average pace ended up being 829 for this week. So it was a great tempo workout. I tested out Science and Sport Beta Fuel Gel. I had my Magic 3s on. I stayed hydrated throughout, and I couldn't ask for better weather. So this tempo run this week was definitely a big confidence boost for me that I needed. All right, so I capped the week off on Sunday with the 10-mile long run. Ended up getting 10.27 miles for an average pace of 908 per mile. Now, this wasn't in my actual training plan, but I decided to see what type of pace I would run if I kept my heart rate between 136 and 141 beats per minute. So I was pleasantly surprised to see that the pace was at 908, and even more surprised to see that my pace would dip below 850 for my last 3 miles and still be able to maintain an average heart rate of just 138. So what that actually tells me that if I do everything the right way, if I don't get ahead of myself, if I don't get too geeked, if I run the correct paces at the correct effort, I should be able to run my race pace, which would be 835 at a relatively lower heart rate. Meaning I should have some energy, I should have some go to kick it in when I really need to kick it in towards the end. Now, I'm asking for a lot. I'm gonna need the stars to align, of course, but it's definitely a big confidence boost to see that my heart rate is lowering at these faster efforts towards my race pace. So I'm excited to see where this actually gets to when it's time to really get after. All right, so we getting back to work for this upcoming week. Total mile on the schedule is gonna be 56 miles. For my strength work on Tuesday, we got 3 by 2 mile intervals with 800 meter recovery. Staying at 9 miles for the tempo on Thursday, and then back on my 16 piece for the long run on Sunday. So this is gonna be another build week for me. Time to put the hard hat on, get after. All right, folks, let's get into the meat and potatoes of why we here. Now, what performance enhancement supplements and recovery supplements am I taking to get me through and thrive in this marathon training? Now, hold your horses for a second. Now, before we get started, I'm not plugging any brand as I talk about these supplements. I am not affiliated with anybody on here. I expect you to do your own research on what reputable brands there are out there. And if you decide you want to get on these supplements, you go with your own research and you follow that brand. Now, you might see a trend in the brands that I'm using, but that is what it is for me because I've done my own research. You do your own research. Ain't nobody paying me to do this, so I damn sure ain't plugging nobody for this. All right, let's get to it now. All right, the first supplement is the good old protein. Now, why is protein important? Now, because I run so much and I try to get some strength training in, I need to supplement with protein to help me build my muscle and repair structures like my tendon, my cartilage, and my bone I tend to break down throughout the week. Now, I tend to look at protein as more of a recovery supplement, but because it does help build muscle, it's actually a pretty good in-between of a performance enhancement and recovery supplement that I would say. All right, next supplement up is the good old creatine. So why is this important for me? I know most people would think that creatine is more of a power-based athlete type supplement, but creatine helps you generate energy. And you guys know that I'm doing some pretty intense workouts throughout the week, whether that be intervals or my tempo runs or even my long runs. So creatine in my system makes sure that I have enough energy to power through those workouts. So there's no recommendation for how much creatine you should be consuming per day. But if you are an athlete and you're looking to supplement with creatine, I would suggest about 5 grams will be pretty sufficient for you. All right, next supplement up, good old vitamin D3. So this one is a vitamin D3 and K2 supplement, which helps with the absorption. But this is all about bone and muscle health. So I've said it plenty of times. This is important for me because I'm constantly breaking my body down. And I want to make sure that my bone, make sure that my muscles, my tendons, my cartilage, everything is healthy and repaired and rebuilding like it should throughout this throughout this training block. So I'm really upping my vitamin D to make sure that I'm recovering well from my workouts and my training, and that my bone, that my muscle, that my tendon, and my cartilage is all remaining healthy. All right, next up, L-glutamine. So why am I taking L-glutamine? So I normally take this first thing in the morning, but there have been studies that show that this helps to replenish glycogen stores. So whenever I have pretty tough workouts, whenever I'm doing my long runs, I actually take L-glutamine afterwards. Now, there's also been conflicting studies about L-glutamine's benefits as far as immunity and muscle building. But for me, this is all about recovery, and it's all about replenishing my glycogen stores. Next, omega-3s. Now, why am I supplementing with omega-3s? To help reduce the effects of chronic inflammation. Now, inflammation in itself isn't bad, but chronic inflammation can be. And when you pound the pavement as much as I do throughout the weeks, chronic inflammation can be an issue. Now, there have been some reports that show that supplementing with omega-3s can have performance enhancement benefits as well, but I'm using this mainly for the effects of reducing chronic inflammation and to make sure I'm not suffering from DOMS after hard workouts. All right, so before I get to these last 2 supplements, I'm gonna call myself out real quick because I started off by saying I'm not trying to plug no brands. And technically I'm not, but I am about to plug my mans real quick. Now, if you're following me on social media, on my IG, on my Facebook, on my TikTok, hopefully you've been seeing me training my homie Big Joe that's looking to run his first 5K on October 28th. Now, Big Joe is the owner of Heavy on the Health LLC. He's a ISSA certified strength and conditioning coach, nutritionist, and just a bomb-ass herbalist that has helped cooked up a couple supplements for me that I gotta let y'all know about. All right, first up is the Herbal Pre-Workout. Now, there's no label for this because Big Joe just came out with this, but as you can see, I'm almost out of this already. Now, this has been a game changer for me. Why? This isn't like your typical pre-workout. There's no beta-alanines, there's no artificial caffeine, so you're not gonna get that tingling sensation, you're not gonna get that jittery sensation. What I will tell you is that when you take this and you go, you're gonna notice that you can keep on going, and you can keep on going, and you can keep on going. Now remember, this is an herbal supplement, so not only is it good for your energy, this is also good for you. Now, this hasn't hit the market just yet, but it's coming soon. So be on the lookout for this. This is an herbal pre-supplement, a herbal pre-workout, and it's been my secret sauce and my game changer. Now, last but certainly not least, we have the sea moss tincture. Now, all of Big Joe's sea moss tinctures include your bladderwrack and burdock root as well too, to make sure that you're getting every essential mineral that the body needs. Now, in this particular blend, he also included some nootropic and performance-based mushrooms. Now, I'm constantly in go mode. I'm training 6 days out the week. I'm getting 50 miles at least of training per week. So I have to make sure that I stay ready. And as long as I got this sea moss in my system, I'm always ready for whatever, whenever. Now, if you are interested in Heavy in the Health products, I am going to plug Big Joe's website down in the description. So please, I invite y'all to take a look at that and get on the Heavy on the Health train. It'll be worth it. All right, another dope episode is in the books. I appreciate y'all tapping in with me. If this is your first time touching down, I invite you to check out the first 7 episodes of the Project 345 series. If you like this episode, go ahead, hit me with a thumbs up. If you want to hear more from me, click that subscribe button as well too. And share this with another running buddy or family member that you may have. To all those that's out there getting it in for these fall marathons, half marathons, and 5Ks, I wish y'all all payment blessings, and I hope that y'all getting through y'all training injury-free. Y'all be productive, be strong, be courageous, and as always, be transformed. This is your boy Run JLC. I'm out. Peace.